let us have a quick review of the law of ancient Israel. Ang pangako ni Jesus ay pahinga. Ano ang nakakapagod? Yung law. Yung religious, ceremonial, and legal laws of Israel. Ngayon, kung ang pangako ni Jesus ay pahinga from the law, dapat muna natin unawain kung ano nga ba yung law. Bakit siya nakakapagod? At bakit nung panahon ni Jesus ay gusto na niyang magpahinga ang mga tao from this burden? Unawain natin, sariwain, reviewin ang law ng ancient Israel. Ancient Israel had 3 types of laws. Ceremonial law, yung may mga kinalaman sa religious concepts nila of purity and worship. Kanila lang ito. Hindi ito para sa buong mundo. Dapat sa simula pa lang malinaw yan. Yung ceremonial law ng Israel ay para sa mga ancient Israelites. Hindi para sa buong mundo at hindi rin para sa modern day Christians. Akala kasi ng mga modern day Christians, kung sila sumunod kay Jesus, nadawit na sila sa ancient laws of Israel. Pinalaya ni Jesus yung mga tao sa kanyang panahon from the law and the ancient laws of Israel. Tapos modern day na ngayon, tayo pa yung belatedly sasaling pusa dun sa law na pinalaya na nga ni Jesus ang mga tao from the law para sila mapahinga. Yung ceremonial and civil laws, yung mga binabanggit sa Old Testament at may mga echoes sa New Testament, yung ceremonial law and civil laws ay para lang sa ancient Israel. Sa kanila ibinigay ang law, hindi sa buong mundo. Clear yan. Laging sinasabi sa Old Testament, sa Scripture, tell this to the Israelites. You are the people I brought out of the land of Egypt. Itong usapan natin, itong covenant natin. This is the law. Sila ang kausap. Those ceremonial laws and civil laws were for Israel, ancient Israel, in fact, not for the whole world. Kasi yun ang Israel during the time of Jesus, pinalaya na ni Jesus mula sa ceremonial and civil laws na yun eh. Now, there's another law of Israel aside from the ceremonial law, legal law. Yung umiiral na civil law or batas governing their country noong unang panahon. At dahil wala silang separation of church and state, so to speak, yung scriptures nila ang parang constitution na rin nila. Their ceremonial and civic and legal laws were viewed as one and the same. At linawin natin, mga kapatid, kanila lang, sa ancient Israelites lang, ang legal law nila. Hindi ito pang buong mundo. Hindi ito ipinapataw sa mga Gentiles, hindi ito ginagamit sa mga non-Israelites noong unang panahon, at pinalaya din ni Jesus ang mga tao from these legal laws. So, balikan natin. Yung ceremonial law, civil laws, legal laws of ancient Israel were only for Israel, not for the whole world then, and lalo namang not for the whole world now. Ngayon, there is a third type of law ng ancient Israel. Moral law. Mga batas, ordinances, rules, regulations that reflected God's universal values of good or bad, right or wrong. Universal law ito, hindi lang pang-Israel, kundi pang buong mundo, sa lahat ng lugar at panahon. Though Israel placed itself under this moral law, shared ng Israel with the rest of humanity ang universal laws of God, of good or bad, of what is beautiful or not beautiful. So ang moral laws ay para sa lahat, para sa Israel at para sa lahat. At ngayon ay para pa rin sa ating lahat. Kahit na yung mga moral laws na yun ay umuso within the laws of ancient Israel, ihiwalay ito sa legal law, ihiwalay sa civil law, ihiwalay sa ceremonial law, at yung moral law nila ay moral law pa rin natin at ng lahat ng sangsinukob. Ang legal and ceremonial laws ng Israel ang fulfilled, satisfied by Jesus to save people who cannot fulfill all of them anyway. All who fail to fulfill the law are saved from the law when they believe in Jesus, His divine personhood, and His perfect work and sacrifice. So pag sinasabing Jesus fulfilled all the law, yung mga legal and ceremonial laws were fulfilled by Jesus to save the Jews from the Jewish law. Yung iba ginagamit itong argumento para igiit na si Jesus ay practicing Jew, na siya ay Jew, ang mga katuruan niya ay para sa Jews at dapat ituloy lang ang Jewism. No, Jesus fulfilled all the Jewish laws to save the Jewish people from their laws. All of them who could not fulfill their laws were saved by believing in Jesus who fulfilled it for them. Now, ang legal and ceremonial laws ng Israel din ang destroyed and nullified by Jesus through His work and fulfillment of it para palayain ang tao mula sa pagkakaalipin under those very harsh and cruel laws. So, linawin natin. The Jewish people were under the Jewish law. Jesus fulfilled and satisfied all the requirements of those laws to save the Jewish people who were under the law from their law. Pero later on, marami rin mga tao na nakadevelop ng sarili nilang mga laws na in essence, kamukha rin naman ng mga legal and ceremonial laws and moral laws ng Israel, pero hindi rin nila yun ma-fulfill. Lahat ng taong yon kasama sa ipinagbayad ni Jesus for being unable to fulfill the law. So, by fulfilling the law, Jesus saved the Jews from their laws and the Gentiles from their laws because, sabi sa Romans, when the Gentiles do what the Jewish law says, the law of the Gentiles written in their hearts is also a law in itself. So, ang pag-fulfill ni Jesus sa lahat ng Jewish laws, sa lahat ng mga ordinances, ay para sa lahat ng tao, Jewish or non-Jewish, na hindi makatupad sa law ng Jewishness or sa law ng Gentiles. Ano mang law yun? Ang pananalig kay Jesus ang magliligtas sa lahat ng tao sa buong mundo para hindi nila tanggapin at hindi nila katakutan at hindi nila ipamuhay yung kaparusahan ng inability to obey their law. Ephesians 2:14-15 says, Christ gave His own body to destroy the law of Moses with all its rules and commands. So by fulfilling all the laws, by His perfect sacrifice and obedience, Jesus nullified and voided the law. Nawala na ng talab ang law sa lahat ng mga taong magpapaligtas kay Jesus, mananalig kay Jesus, at sisilong kay Jesus. At wala nang bisa ang law na yon. Hindi na yun pwedeng ipanakot, hindi na yun dapat katakutan, at hindi na pwedeng ipampagilty, at lalo namang hindi pwedeng ipang-judge. Because Jesus already destroyed the law. His destruction of the law is two-way. By obeying all of it to the point that it has become moot and academic and irrelevant, therefore it was destroyed, and by paying for all of the sins prescribed under the law. Therefore, paid na lahat ng sin. Therefore, wala nang hahabulin yung law. Therefore, wala nang bisa yung law. So, Jesus both fulfilled and destroyed the legal and ceremonial laws. Meanwhile, the universal moral law na component din naman ng Jewish law ang tinutukoy na law that Jesus fulfilled completely. Ito rin universal moral law ang hindi magmamaliw na not a dot or an iota will perish, sabi nga ni Jesus. Ito yung component of the law na sino mang susuway o magpopromote ng pagsuway ay tatawaging least in the kingdom of heaven, sabi ni Jesus. Yung tatawaging least in the kingdom of heaven does not refer to those who now skip the ceremonial and legal laws of ancient Israel because they had already been nullified by Jesus, or they do not submit under the law because they were and are not Israelites under the law. Jesus' believers and followers must recognize these three types of laws and appreciate that they are to submit today only to the universal moral laws and to some specific aspects of ancient Israel's ceremonial and legal laws when and only when such laws agree with and do not contradict Jesusness or the teachings of Jesus. That's a mouthful. Ang pagkilala sa tatlong uri ng laws of Israel ang magbibigay ng susi sa pag-unawa kung alin dito ang canceled na, voided na by Jesus at alin ang umiiral pa at dapat sundin for all time. Yung ceremonial and legal laws of ancient Israel were only for them. Even modern-day Israelites are no longer under obligation to be under those ancient laws because Jesus already nullified and voided those laws even for the Jews. So lalo namang hindi nun sakop yung hindi naging Jew at hindi Jew ngayon. Ngayon yung mga Christians na kusang nagpasakop doon sa mga laws na yun kasi akala nila dapat kasali yun sa usapan, they too are covered by the saving work of Jesus. So, you are under the law by birth or nag-volunteer ka mag-under the law later on, pare-pareho lang na nililigtas ni Jesus from the law, from the punishment of the law, and from the guilt of not being able to obey all the law all the time. Kaya mahalaga ang Jesus filter. Ang Jesus filter ay isa lang natin pag-simplify sa ideya. Halimbawa, tulad ng nasa ating illustration. Maraming katuruan, maraming laws. Yung korteng puso, yung mga laws that are in accordance with the word of John 1:1, which you also equate with Jesusness. Pag binabanggit natin yung the word, we mean Jesusness. Pag sinasabi natin yung Jesusness, we mean the word. Yung essence of Jesus is the essence of the word of John 1:1. So, marami mga laws that are in accordance with the word or Jesusness. Pag dumaan niya sa Jesus filter, lalampas. Tuloy, effective pa. Ngayon, may mga moral laws nung ancient Israel times na nasa drawing natin na para mga triangle na blue. Yung moral laws na yon, law nung araw, pero pag dumaan yun sa Jesus filter, pag tinest mo by the essence of the word or by the essence of Jesus, which is Jesusness, lalampas pa rin yun. Effective pa rin yun. Universal kasi. So, iiral pa rin yun. We are still under those moral laws. Pero yung civil laws na nandito din sa ating illustration at yung ceremonial laws of ancient Israel, pag dumaan yan sa Jesus filter, babara na, hindi na papasok at ilalagay na yan sa isang lalagyang hindi na kailangang pagpakamatayang sundin. Hindi na kailangan tayo maghirap. At yun ang tinutukoy ni Jesus. Pagpapahingahin ko kayo from the civil and ceremonial laws of ancient Israel. Bibigyan ko yung kapahingahan sa mabibigat na dalahin na ito. Ano yung mabibigat na dalahin na ipinapataw ng teachers of the law and Pharisees? E di yung civil and ceremonial laws. Kaya kasama na doon yung mga Sabbath na pinaluwag ni Jesus ang application. At sabi niyo, kung mas makakabuti sa inyong may gawin sa Sabbath, di gawin nyo. Hindi naman nyo amo ang Sabbath, so hindi nyo kailangan lagi magpahinga kung mas mabuti sa inyong may gawin. Kasama yun sa hindi nadadaan sa Jesus filter. Hindi ka na required na mag-Sabbath. Pero kung gusto mo, hindi ka naman pinagbabawalan. Kasama rin yung mga dietary laws na hindi mo pwedeng kainin ito, hindi mo pwedeng kainin yan. Pagdaan niya sa Jesus filter, hindi na yan papasa because Jesus declared all foods to be clean. Ngayon, kung ayaw mo pa rin kainin kasi personal choice mo, pwede naman. Pero hindi ka obligadong sumunod na huwag kainin yun kahit gusto mo. Marami pa yan. Maraming mga legal laws ng ancient Israel noon na pagka nahuli ka sa kasalanan, lalo sa pangangalo niya, babatuhin ka hanggang mamatay. Pero nakita niyo ang ginawa ni Jesus doon sa babaeng caught in the act of adultery, hindi naman niya ipinabato eh. Walang nambato. So, kasama yan sa hindi napapasa sa Jesus filter. Kasi yung law na pag may nahuli kang may makasalanan ay babatuhin mo hanggang mamatay, gagawin niyo ba yun ngayon? Kahit kayo napakahilig sa Biblia, gagawin niyo ba yun? Hindi na kasi yun ang legal law of the land where you live. Sa Pilipinas, hindi naman tayo obligado, tinuturuan na mabatuhin ang may kasalanan according to the moral and legal and ceremonial laws of Israel. So, kasama yun sa hindi napapasa. Hindi ka na dapat mambato ng may kasalanan ngayon. Hindi ka na dapat mambato hanggang mamatay ng may kasalanan. Kasi pag pinadaan mo sa Jesus filter, yung law na yon, the civil law of Israel, pinalaya na niya even the Israelites from the burden of that law. And we can go on and on and on. Mga itsura, mga isusuot, mga laws on menstruation, laws on this, on that. Marami nang hindi dadaan sa Jesus filter. Pinagpahinga ni Jesus ang mga ancient Israelites from their laws. Lalo namang dapat ang mga hindi Israelites na mapahinga from those same laws. Ang tutuloy lang na law sa Israelites man o sa non-Israelites, yung moral laws of God, which had always been true kahit sa Israel, kahit sa labas ng Israel, sa lahat ng panahon. Yan ang importance ng Jesus filter. Padaanin sa Jesus filter ang lahat ng law. Ceremonial, legal, at universal moral law. Pinalaya na ni Jesus ang mundo mula sa ceremonial and legal law. But appreciate na iniligtas na ni Jesus sa mga under the legal, ceremonial, and even moral laws by His perfect redeeming sacrifice. Ang patuloy na pagpapairal ng legal and ceremonial laws of ancient Israel that Jesus came and sacrificed with His own life to destroy and nullify, to set people free, ay paglabag sa kalooban ng Ama na nagsugo kay Jesus at pagkontra sa mapagpalayang ministry ni Jesus. Okay, na-review na natin yung laws of Israel. Yung laws na pinagpahinga ni Jesus sa mga Israelites from ceremonial and legal law nila. Pero yung moral law ng Diyos na kung ano ang mabuti at hindi mabuti, masama at hindi masama, tuloy tayong lahat sa pagsunod doon.